What's going on out there, Buck fans? Happy Tuesday. It was Victory Monday, but it's Victory Tuesday. Lord knows we needed that. After the last 3 shitty weeks we were dealing with, I'm sure you guys are very happy and we can run with this shit. No matter how the win was, we got it. And as you can hear in my voice, I'm still trying to get back to normal. But it was all sounds this past Sunday, firing the cannons, hell of a weekend. Everything was right. Everything went right the way it was supposed to be. You know, I'm telling you, my buddy Slick from the UK came over. Coach Slick, he'll explain in a second. But welcome to another great episode of Bucs Report the Aftermath. As always, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music. We got Coach Slick, aka the British guy who's always fly. How you feeling, sir? How are you feeling?
Jet lag to fuck. My travel altogether, so I take a train from the London airport to get to where I'm at.
Yeah.
It probably took me about 15 hours to get home.
Oh my God. And you people don't know what dedication is. My man, 15 hours across the world, and he still is on here for you all. We're here because it's Victory Week.
It's Victory Week, baby. Hey, we needed that. We need that little taste. And I hope the players got a taste that it makes them go, I don't want that fucking horrible taste that we've been having in our mouths the last 3 weeks. Let's fucking go out, win big. Let everyone else talk. But I'm telling you, you look at some of these schedules, some of these other teams that may have higher seedings than us. They don't have the schedule that we have. We could end up if we win out, we win 12 games. It's going to be a struggle for every team to win 12 games, and I mean it. Some of these teams can only win maybe 3 more games.
Yeah, the Bears come to mind. Their next 4 games, they got to play the Packers twice. I think the Packers will beat them twice.
Let's have a bit of fun with this, and we'll just go through this for our Buccaneer fans right now. So we'll start with the Eagles because they're the first seed. They're the first seed that comes up for me. So I've got Chargers. That ain't no gimme. Raiders. I'm giving the Raiders. I'll give them the Raiders, and I'm going to give them both Commodores games, both Commanders games. That's only 3 wins. They got 9 wins. They might get 12. Do you see? No, they got 8. They don't even have 12, so they got 8.
They can only get
11. They got 8 wins, but they can't get 12. So we would leapfrog them. I've already looked at the Cowboys, but Cowboys can probably win about that many, but we'll go through it anyway. They got Lions. It's not impossible, but it's not easy. Vikings, I'll give them the win. Chargers, you know what? That's a tough one. That's a 50-50 game, but they're quite far behind. They've only won 6 games. Commanders, I'll give them. Giants, I'll give them. But just for the sake of argument, I'm just trying to give the best kind of scenario here. That doesn't mean the Giants can't go and sneak one because it happened. We all seen it with football. The Bears, they go pack twice. I'll let them split that. They got the Bears. I'll give them that one. The Niners, you know what? I think the Niners by the end of December are going to be pure garbage water. And I don't mean this in a nasty way. I mean it in the sense of they rely too much on one person, and that poor guy is going to get Christian McCaffrey is going to get burnt the fuck out. And come playoff time, even if they have a good record and they make the playoffs, he is going to get eaten alive because he's going to have so much toll on that body. But this is a guy who gets injured easily. Why the fuck are you feeding the ball like a fucking force-fed goose?
Mm-hmm.
Fattening him up for Christmas, fattening up a turkey for fucking Thanksgiving. That boy's going to get slaughtered when it comes to playoff time because he just won't have the juice.
Agreed.
Then they go Lions. That might be the decider of the division, but if you get that, that's 3 wins. They got 9 wins. That might put them in the 12 mark. So we would, in theory, if we were to win out, I'm not saying we will. If we were to win out, we would tie with them.
Yeah.
The Packers, I've already said I'll split the games that they have. Broncos ain't no gimme. I'll give them the Vikings. They got Broncos, Ravens. And I'll give a Bears game that I reckon they'll lose, and I reckon they'll win one. They've only got 2 wins.
Yes,
If you
I
go
can
by
see
that.
that. I can see them. They're not beating. They're definitely not beating the Broncos, and they're definitely not beating the Ravens. They're going to fall short of those 2 games. They're going to have back-to-back losses, and they're going to split, like you said, with the Packers. But I wouldn't be surprised if the Packers swept them. I wouldn't be.
I wouldn't be surprised, but you never count them out because they're a cold weather team. They know there's
Yeah.
hatred there.
Yeah.
They need to get that hump off their back. But at the same time, I think if it's when it's at Lambeau, I don't know which one comes first. If Lambeau comes first, I reckon they could sweep. If Chicago comes first, as in it's Chicago, they have an opportunity.
They do. They really
Over
do.
the
And
Rams
not
here.
just. Yep.
We'll go to
And
Rams. They got Cardinals. Their opportunity to run away with the division was last week, and they coughed that the fuck up. They
yep.
went.
They did.
They coughed it up.
How do you
Cardinals. They
lose
got
against the Patriots?
Cardinals. They'll give them that. They got Lions. That's gonna be a tough one. They got Seahawks. We know what the Seahawks can do.
And they'll
Falcons
split.
will give them that one, and then they got Cardinals. So there's 3 wins for them too. So they'll be also a team that'll be looking at potentially 12 or maybe more, depending on if they can convert some of these other games. The Seahawks, however, they go Falcons 1. They go Colts. That's a tough one. They go Rams. We've already spoken about that one. Panthers and Niners. They've got a chance to win 3 games plus as well, and they're on the same. They're on the same billion. These 2 teams they could get 13s if depending. It will come down to them two how they do. The Niners I think will fall off the wagon the last 2 games of the season.
Yes. Yes.
I think they'll win against the Titans.
Mhm.
Then they go Colts, and then they go Colts. They go Colts. They go Bears, and they go Seahawks. What I'm trying to tell Buccaneers fans, all is not lost. We could end up with a 2 seed. It's not impossible.
It's not impossible. Did you hear that, Buck fans? It's not impossible. Now we are aware that it's a long shot, and it is, and it's not due to the injuries. It goes back to the same old saying, coaching. So, Bowles, what are you going to do to fix this situation? Because I don't know if you mentioned this. Oh, side note, Slick and I were at the game. We felt the atmosphere. We could smell the grass. We could see the team. We saw it in person. We tried to have our fan caps on, but there were certain things that the coaching came out of both of us. And Slick called a lot of good shit. We had buddies in there, mutual people knowing the game. Had a hell of a weekend encountering Mr. Cansey, which is a
Oh
whole
yeah,
nother conversation. But let's stick to the game though. Slick, again, it was a hard fought victory. The Bucs did what they needed to do, but we still saw a lot of things that Bowles needs to check up on and really evaluate. Now, Slick, he was yelling at the coach. He was yelling at his team. There's a video. I was going to post it. I'll show you guys later. He's yelling at the team. But Slick, who's
hey,
going to
that's his
kill?
job right now. You know, you lose the Cardinals, 4 in a row. He knows he's got to get off that fucking hump. He knows.
Mhm.
And I think this, and this is just a theory of mine. I think that the casualty for this season will be, depending on how the Buccaneers do, obviously. I think Grisard's done as the offensive coordinator. I think they'll go and pay someone some money. It'll either be a disgruntled head coach that gets fired, potentially like a Mike McDaniels. I don't know if he'll get cut because he's actually seemed to have galvanized the team at the moment, but we'll see. You never know what NFL franchise is, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's a coach. I think the Buccaneers are going to look at a guy who's been a coordinator in the past, not somebody and has had success, not somebody who could be an up and coming. Because this is what we've done. We've turned 2 guys who were offensive coordinators or had parts of an offensive coordinating system, and they've gone on to do like quarterbacks coaches and things like that, and they've gone on to do other things. We need to find somebody who's got that kind of a little bit more head coaching knowledge. Who's
Yes.
good? You can't. I wouldn't say you got guaranteed, but they know what they're fucking doing straight off the bat.
They know what they're doing, Slick, but they also know how to be innovative. That's the most important thing. Knowing what you're doing. No, I'm gonna tell you this. Certain average coaches know what they're doing. Mike Vrabel knows what he's doing. Sean McVay, Sean Payton are what we call innovators. The
Mm-hmm.
Rams OC, Ben Johnson is an innovator. You have to, how many times, Slick, coach, everybody listen to coach, how many times, coach, have you said you got to disguise shit on offense? How many
Yep.
times have you said on defense, you have to make sure the opponent doesn't know what you're doing? You're right.
100%.
That's why Griswold has to go because, like you said,
I
the
think he's going to be the
Bucs
casualty because I think that will allow Bowles at least to keep his job for one more year.
100%. He has no choice at this point, but Bowles
We
has
can't be.
got to do his job.
Yeah,
And
yeah, absolutely,
let's be
absolutely.
real, Slick. How many times did we see Jacoby Brissett march down the field and get unnecessary yards? And
100%. And let's talk about that because they got 22 first downs
yes, they
to
did.
at 13.
Mm-hmm.
They got a total yards. They got almost double what. Sorry, they got almost 100 more yards, 110 more yards than we did. Slightly
Yes.
less than that. Passing yards, you got 291 to our 184.
Wow.
Rushing yards was equal. That's disappointing. They really gave us a run for our money. They really did. Penalties, 4 to 5. We gave up one more penalty than them. Total return yards, they returned the ball a lot more than us because I think we were a little bit more successful with certain drives that
Yeah.
went places. And I think there's a couple of times that we kind of moved the ball but didn't actually move it far. Like we would move it from let's say the 25 and we'd get to about their 40 and it's not kickable, so we'd punt. That kind of, I think that happened quite often. Total turnovers, they coughed up the ball. They coughed up the ball. We coughed up the ball. They got 2 turnovers. We got nothing.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah, you're right on that. And how many times was Jacoby dead to rights tackle for the sack, and yet he still escaped? How many times did we see piss poor tackling? But the issue at hand,
Sorry, it was
Slick,
us who got the two us who got the 2 turnovers. We got the fumble recovery and we got the INT, and we didn't do. We should have dominated that game, and we should have. We let them get back in the second half. When we got the ball, I said to you, me and we both turned to each other. We goes, now you put it on them because I don't know if they've got the nuts or the stomach to get back into this game. And what happened? We didn't free and out, but we moved the ball a little bit, and then we stalled out, and then we kicked the ball, and they scored.
they did. They sure did. And that was the issue that we kept saying. You know what this game kind of reminded me of, Slick? The Jets game when we played them in week 3 at home. Remember how we were comfortable and we were in full control and Bowles took his foot off the gas? It was sort of the same eerie kind of feeling, but like I told you, I never felt that we lost the game, but like you said, this was a game where we could have dominated and put them away. Now, I said before we were going to have to grind it out because we didn't know the status of Baker Mayfield's arm, his shoulder. We wanted to make sure he was upright. He looked damn good. Bucky looked damn good, but I want to go back to Bowles because my issue is somebody needs to be yelling at him, Coach Slick. Why do you continue to do the same things? And you have people out there, Slick, that I'm trying to school because as you can see over the weekend, y'all, Slick he dealt with my family, had the arguments, and that shit was entertaining and funny because you got people who know the game, and then you got people who really know the meat and potatoes of the game.
Yeah,
It's okay to be a casual of
yeah,
football,
absolutely. Look, if
but
you just want to be a fan and just
yes,
enjoy the game for what it is, know a little bit about football, that's cool. Just don't claim that you know football.
right,
There's nothing wrong with that.
and that's what the issue is, Slick. We got people out there. I was talking to this guy on Twitter. So it's Zion's fault. So it's Bowles' fault that Zion is missing tackles. In a way, yes, Mr. UE. Slick can tell you this
All
better.
I gotta say is that on missing tackle, you've got to put it on the players too. You, of course, like you got to put it on the players too.
Yeah.
However, someone coaches him how to tackle. So if it's me and I've got a player that's really poor at tackling, and I have the time, the resources that the Buccaneers have. Do you know what Zion McCollum's doing? Tackling from fucking every angle with a blindfold fucking on if I have to.
Mm-hmm.
He is tackling everything that moves until it could be 5 yards off, it's going to be 10 yards off, 20 yards off. So every time you're going to go one-on-one on this motherfucker. It's going to be you and him, you and him, you and him, you and him. Then you make it more exciting. You go, it's 2-on-2. You got a blocker, a ball carrier, and you and somebody else. And you just build the groundwork up of what you're trying to achieve from a tackling point of view.
Yes, sir.
Because there's clearly something not right. So what are you going to do to address it? You can't just say, oh, well, he needs to get better at tackling. That's fucking easy. Now, I don't know what the Buccaneers do as a coaches, what they do to coach and fix these kind of issues, because I'm not in that building. I can't talk about that. But the fact that it hasn't got better either tells me that the kid's in a slump and you need to look at potentially putting Benjamin Morrison in and just letting Zion McCollum sit on the bench, because that's the one thing I always found weird was someone said to me once the other day, it was not while we were in Tampa, but it was a couple of weeks ago, and someone was like, well, the Benjamin Morrison's, he's got to have his plays, so that's why they got to take Dean out. And I'm like, Dean's not the one. Everyone's glazing over Dean. Social media's glazing over him. The NFL media's glazing over him. He's this really good. He's having a really good year. Why are you taking the best cornerback off the field when you got a guy who's struggling in Zion McCollum? And then you go, okay, we'll put the rookie in where Zion plays. Then they're trying to say that Jamal Dean needs to have breaks for him to keep playing. And I don't know, but that's an opinion. I'm just saying, if you can take anybody out, you take the weak link out, right?
That's right. You take the person who's struggling. But another thing is, too, again, yes, is Zion struggling? But like you said, as a coach, like, you might have to have a self-evaluation. Talk to the man. Hey, can you handle being 7 to 8 yards off of this receiver? And here's the thing, Slick.
He clearly ain't good at tackling in space.
Right. That's the problem right there, Slick. We don't know what's going on behind the closed doors. For all you know, Zion could be saying, Coach, I can't keep fucking trying to tackle 7, 8 yards off. And Bo's like, well, you got to get better at this. I mean, because that's the way that we do things here. So Slick, because you know what pisses me off? Everybody keeps saying, well, AJ, he didn't do good in man. You saw one fucking play that he lost to, and that was your whole determined thing.
Okay. Who did he lose to, man?
Devontae Adams. You saw him lose to Devontae Adams, and all of a sudden, he didn't do good in man against the Cardinals. He hardly played man against the Cardinals.
Yeah, no, we played a lot of them, because you could just see by the alignment and the formations that we didn't play a lot of man.
See, but Slick, for you other people out there, if you don't know what true zone is, you're not going to understand that. Oh, well, he was a little closer. You could still play zone and be a little close. That makes no sense. If you don't know, this is why you have to know how zone operates. You got to know.
Yeah. And they play zone for one reason and one reason only. We know that. Why would you play zone, AJ?
You play zone so you don't give up the deep passes, and you cover certain spaces.
But what's the one thing these guys are looking at?
They're looking to anticipate where the receiver's going for the ball so they can jump around. They like to jump routes.
However, what is their eyes keyed onto once the play's in motion?
They're supposed to look at the quarterback. They're supposed to.
So what does that help you? What does that help you do that you don't need to do in man?
It helps you not. Yes. There you go.
What's Jacoby Brissett good at? Running the ball. So I get why they did it, but I think you got to do it on down. What down is he most likely going to go for a run? It's going to be third down.
Third down. That's all.
So you play man on third down, and you make him respect the sticks and respect the game, because he's not a natural runner of the ball in the sense of he's a option QB dual threat, like fucking one of those guys. He's not like a Cam Newton who'll be like, fuck it, it's open, I'm taking this, I'm taking that, I'm taking that. Has design run plays, option routes, all these little bits and pieces that will complement their run game.
Yeah.
He's not that. What they will have is the fact that he's a great scrambler that they could probably build into their run package, but he's not going to be the run package.
Yeah, he's the guy that you use, Slick, that no one is going to anticipate on defense. We don't necessarily have to worry about him. Then it's oh shit, he's taking off. Now we might have to keep an eye on him. I get where you're going, Slick, but that's why you play aggressive, and the Bucs should have. In a way, Slick, we saw the game. The Cardinals were just begging for us to put them out of their misery. You could tell that the only reason they fought is because they were saying, oh shit, we're not blown out yet, guys. Slick, I always think this. You never want to play a losing team after the second week of November. They have nothing to lose. In their mind, they want to play spoiler. They're going to give everything that they have. You're going to see plays that you've never seen. You're going to see aggression that you've never seen. Now, thankfully, we had the talent, Slick, to get over that. But what I am getting pissed off about is that people, yes, it is the player's responsibility to go out and make the play. But you know this, Slick, you are a coach. I don't think the problem is, Slick, people don't understand. We see more what the players do, but you don't have a clue that it's the coaches that are the masterminds. They are the ones that are going to be held to the highest accountability because it is their job to get these men ready. See, Slick, this is why people, I know they don't know how to run a team. You do realize you got to set.
Well, if that AJ, if that's the case, and you're only going to do it based off people's ability, let's just fucking throw the checkbook out and just fucking buy every best player in the fucking league. You can't do that. So coaching counts for something. We always say, like, in college, it's Jimmy's and Joe's in the sense of, like, it's as much talent as you can muster.
Yep.
But there's only so much talent you can muster in the NFL because of draft picks, because of draft order, because of salary cap. And yeah, there are ways around it. There are ways that you can trade up. There's ways you can trade down. There's ways you can fuck your picks off and go and get a stud. There's ways you can manipulate the cap. Sure, I get that. But the ultimate denominator in the pro game is you can't just go, I want you, and then kids, talented players will just come to you because your program's got prestige, because you don't get that opportunity. If that was the case, then everyone would just go to the Rams and no one would bother with any other teams. But you don't get to have that because you have to pick, you have to find guys, you have to put all that effort in to really scout a guy and bring him. You imagine how many unlimited scholarships that they have in a fucking, like, a program. Like, there's guys on fucking Alabama that never have seen the fucking field. And they're probably good enough to go and play for, like, a South Florida, or go and play a starting role in a Division II, or an FBS team, or I'm trying to remember what the terminology is. Not a group of 5 team. And they're sat on the fucking bench getting rings, doing absolutely fucking nothing. And they will never see the light of day. They may never, or they might get the odd carry here when Alabama decides that they're going to go and fuck it. We're in the fourth quarter, and Alabama wants to go and give fucking, I don't know,
yeah, the third string guy,
Western Arkansas State or some bullshit, and go for a run. Yeah, do you know what I mean? That's what I'm trying to talk. You can't just do that. You can't just keep recruit. You have to do your due diligence in the draft, and you have to get your free agents. But you're also taxed by money, and you have a certain amount of picks. So coaching is at the high end is the common. What's the one thing you can't get hold? What's the one thing you can get hold of that other people can't? Coaching talent. So you try and get as much coaching talent on your team. And that might be the coaches bringing in guys that know their scheme, that knows how to run it, that know how to coach it. Those people, and it's usually people they build relationships with. That doesn't always mean they're the best coach. It just means they know the system. They know how to teach that system. Yeah. You might have a coach who's, if you put them against anything else, they might be really, really poor. But coaching a 2-read system, they might be phenomenal at. And that's all they need to do.
Yeah, and if you don't believe what Slick just said, go look at the Jaguars. Go look at the Bears. The Bears and the Jaguars do not have it nowhere near as much talent as the Bucs. But you know why they're succeeding? Because coaching. Now, oh, well, AJ, the Bucs are injured. Absolutely. But that didn't stop us early, so we can't use that as an excuse.
We've never been fully healthy.
Yeah, we've never been healthy. So we cannot use that. Now, we'll get back to the game and we're going to assess, but Bowles has got to do a better job, ladies and gentlemen. We have to, Buck fans, the Cardinals, that's cool. Now, our schedule should be a fucking cakewalk. Panthers, they'll start to phase out, but I want Bucks players to understand, Slick, we're not going to be seeing the Cardinals or the Panthers in the playoffs. All the teams that kicked our asses, not kicked, but that beat us, well, Rams kicked our ass, but all the other teams, later. Yeah, we got to play them, y'all, in January. We're going to see them in January. And yes, now Slick,
that's why we're passionate that we lost against them, because we're like, damn, they're measuring stick games, right? I'm saying that we're going to lose every single game, and we're that poor, because we've seen this Buccaneers team lose to big teams before in the Super Bowl season. We've seen get blown out and come back. I get that. But it's a measuring stick. And when you feel that measuring stick, you're pulling out your dick and your dick isn't big enough. Now you're worried. Because they're going to get a bigger piece of the pussy than you couldn't get.
Exactly. And that's the funny thing. Now, Slick, the issue. Now, here's the thing that a lot of Buck fans, it's still a big hope in the if. Now, McMillan has been reported that he's coming back next week to training. So is Mike Evans. And that's a beautiful thing. But, Slick, it won't mean shit if Grizzard doesn't have the balls to make it happen. Now, what we're hoping for, what I'm hoping for, Slick, maybe he will grow some nuts with Mike Evans coming back. He will go, okay, I have a lot more to work with. We maybe Slick, we got to be real. You said it. Grizzly most likely will be a casualty. Maybe, unfortunately, for a guy like that, Slick, he can't coach the talent around him. He can only make the right plays for the real talent.
He might just be a bad play caller, or he might be a bad.
Yeah.
There might be something part of his
Mm-hmm.
coordinating game that's the problem. Is that maybe he was the? I think he was the passing game coordinator or the run game coordinator. He's one of those, right?
Passing. He was the passing coordinator. Yes.
Okay, so I would expect our passing to be kind of the same as last year to a degree, and it's not. Like, and I get the talent is dropped, and I get that Mike Evans isn't here, but damn, man, we didn't have a Mecca last year.
And they're still not scheming him open, Slick. They're still not doing it right.
We
Now,
didn't have Tez Johnson. These screen passes, don't get me wrong, they hit big last week. We got money out of them occasionally, on occasion. I see them as plays that you're like, you know what, I can live another down if I take it. Or they're desperation, but I don't want to take a risk. Right? So they're third down and longs if you're scared to throw it deep. That's how I see it. And I see them as potentially first down tone setters. But I wouldn't use them on second down because that might put you. But if you're behind the sticks on second down, you can on first down, you can always come back in the second and the third down and make up for it. But if you're already behind this, if you're already, let's say you get you gain 2 yards off a run or something like that, or a 2-yard pass, which we don't throw. We rarely do anything that's sub. Like all our passes feel like they're kind of designed to be caught around about the 8 to 10 yard marker. We don't catch anything and rely on talent to squeak unless it's a screen or running back dump offs. We don't manipulate the mesh and have a dig that crosses the field. We don't use that. We saw hitches, and me and you were like literally jumping in our seats, going, "Oh my god, I hadn't seen that." I felt like we hadn't seen that all year because it was just different.
And look what happened.
I wish they went back to it, but why not set up a hitch and then set up a hitch and go?
Yep, hitch and go, stutter and go. And more than that, look at what the hitch did for Chris Godwin on the opening drive. Slick, first of all, thank you, Chris Godwin. You're looking much better. He looks like he's getting back in form. But yes, Slick and I, ladies and gentlemen, we were sitting back like, oh, and here's another thing. We saw a rollout to a tight end, Durham. Durham looked damn good, didn't he, Slick?
He did.
But like you said, why the fuck didn't we continue that trend? Once we did it, it's like Grizzly goes, okay, I'm scared it's not going to work anymore, so I'm going to get away from it. That was the time
if something works, you keep beating them. You there's two schools of thought in this from a coach's perspective, right?
Right.
Either you've had success with it, and you're like, okay, I'm keeping that in my back pocket because I like what success we got. So you don't go back to it until later in the game. Or the mindset that I've always had, stop it, and then I'll stop using it.
Thank you. I'm with you. And then I'm going to add more wrinkles into it, like you said. Okay, now that worked for Durham.
That's the beauty of it. You turn around and you have like one play that's been hitting big and they just can't seem to stop it. Then you go, okay, look at the tush push. They've evolved it. They've made it different. As much as people don't like it or whatever, that's fine. But you have to add a wrinkle to it because that's when everyone goes, oh, I know what you're doing right now. And you go, okay, it's that like famous phrase by Cam Newton. But he's like, he's going to do this, he's going to do this. And he's like, you watch film, watch this. And he fucking scores the touchdown. I'm like, bro called his shot.
Yes.
But that's what I mean. He knew, he was like, okay, I'll check down to something else, or I'll show you the exact same thing, but I'll show you the wrinkle that we've now added to it.
Yep, that you least expected. Like that wrinkle that Grizzard did with our boy Tristan Wirfs catching the touchdown. That was a brilliant play call.
It was a brilliant play call.
That's the kind of innovation that we need.
To do it. He's athletic enough to do it. He's got a bit of speed on him. He's a big boy. No one expects it, even though they have to call out number of 78 is illegible. And people, I saw some jokes about this, which made me laugh. A lot of people were like, "But they tell you who's going to get it." I'm like, no. They tell you who's eligible to get it. And nine times out of 10. If you really listen, there's an illegible fucking, if they put extra linemen in, There's always sometimes they put linemen at the extra spot, like swing tackles and what have you. Because you can have more than one fucking offensive lineman on the field. They just can't do a lot because they can't. Then they can't catch, and they're usually much slower, and they usually don't have the same hands. So yeah, just saying 98 is illegible or 72 is illegible. It doesn't mean anything. They may never even get the ball that play. It's just a decoy to hopefully that you go 72 is going to get the ball. I'm going to fucking have him. And it's like, no, he's not.
But that's what it is. You got to stay creative and hungry, because that's another thing. Well, I'm happy Bucky was looking hungry. I'm happy that I think Slick now, if I'm visiting them, you have to understand you got to utilize all your pieces, because one,
they're coming back now.
Yeah, they're coming back, but you don't want to put the strain on them. Let's say Slick, McMillan, and Evans come back. Whoop, that's going to be fucking great. But you got to start them out slow. Feed your other dogs first. Slowly get them back.
I don't know. I would say what I would do is I would send Mike Evans a few times. I don't want him to do too many hard routes because of his hamstring. He's always had problems with his hamstring. I know it's his shoulder, so his hamstring's probably in decent nick, to be fair. But I would send him on some decoys just to see if they double cover. And if they don't, you might be able to take advantage of that early. But if you go to someone else, I mean, you know what? That's the beauty of this game. You can absolutely do what you just said and what I just said, and they may result into the same thing. Because if you keep hitting a Mecca or you hit a Tez Johnson, they might go, Mike Evans doing nothing a day. So later on, you've sold it, you know.
That's what I'm saying.
You go to him early to get the fucking big play, and they're like, oh fuck, Mike Evans. Yeah, Mike Evans still a threat. You know, and that's the beauty of how you want to play that. But you also have, like you said, McMillan's back. McMillan, I would worry a bit more about, because how they play him is usually a bit more like a slot receiver, which means he's going to get hit. So I would be more wary about using him, whereas I wouldn't be as wary with Mike.
Yes, I agree. If you're going to use McMillan, use him for either running up the seam, skinny post, or a corner post. Let him where he's running outside, to where you have to go to him.
I'd play him outside. I wouldn't play him inside right now. Or if he's playing inside, let him run out breaking routes.
Yes.
Come back.
You can use him for an out route. You can use him for if I had a bunch with 3 wide receivers and Mike Evans is on the right side of him, I want him to do a dig, like as a decoy, and then you have McMillan do an out route, and Baker can be on the roll and toss it to him that way. Because if Evans goes in the middle of the field, most likely, Slick, you know, a corner and a safety are going to have to account for him.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the beauty of it. Now we've got the 3-headed monster at running back. There is absolutely no excuses. Who are we missing on the offensive line right now?
Just Cody Mott. I mean, that's a big piece. But
it's a big piece, but now you've got 4 or 5.
Yep, make it happen. Make it happen. And that's
we had worse during the beginning of the season where we beat bigger names. It's time now.
It's time. Well, again, guys, you're right, and Slick is right. With the schedule we have right now, Slick, now is the time. The dusty booty ass, shitty doo-doo stain, tar pit Saints. Go in there. That's a game, Slick. You go in and you put belt to ass. I want to hear this.
Hey, you did it when you went. You did it when you went to the Superdome. So do it at home.
So do it, do it at your home, because your fans deserve it. And then after that, Slick, you got the dusty ass Falcons. You cook their asses because they ain't worth shit. Then you go to Carolina, and that's the game that in my opinion, Slick, that's the game where if I'm the Bucs, if you don't win this game, you don't go to the playoffs. You put your all into this bitch. You go and skin these motherfuckers.
Yeah, because if you win, if you lose that game, you are in a race.
You're in a race. And Slick, did you know, statistically speaking, if the Bucs beat the Saints, the Falcons, and the Panthers, they clinch the NFC South.
Pretty much, yeah.
No, that is it right there. Greg Oman put that down statistically.
Okay.
If the Bucs beat the Falcons, Saints, and Panthers, Slick, by week 16,
because of the divisional matchup, we would have won X amount of divisional games, right?
Yep. So that means at that point, if you want to save your players by then, Slick, I'm not saying they should lose, but now you can bring in your backups if someone is injured. Now you don't have to play them, your starters as much, and you guys can start
Mm.
resting. Because you beat the Panthers, Slick. You got the Dolphins. I'm not worried about the Dolphins. I think you could, if let's say if the Bucs get up early enough and they got a nice lead, now you can bring Teddy's ass in there. You can do so much, and then that last Panthers game, you just win that game for momentum. Slick, if we do it right, like you said, because now, Slick, we don't want to hear no excuses. Grizzard, light, you didn't ask for, you didn't make no big time trades. So you basically told us, they told us, Slick, that reinforcements on the way. So, motherfucker, if I say this, if Evans, McMillan are back, Slick, you and I, we're not gonna have any. I don't want to hear no excuses on this offense. I
No.
don't want to hear any excuse. Honestly, Slick, with Evans and McMillan them coming
And
back,
by the time we play the Panthers
December 21st.
December 21st. That's another 3 weeks away.
Yep.
I would expect I would expect the guys that are coming back this week to be firing on all cylinders or close to 100%. Maybe that's 75, ready to roll. This Panthers team's not great. It's not that talented. It's riding off confidence. Their coaches captured it very, very well. They are not the most talented team in the NFC South. They're not the most talented team in football in the NFC at all. But what they lack in talent, they've made up for with a lot of confidence. The confidence that we are lacking. So what I'm saying is, when you get to this point, our talent, and if we've won we've won another game by then, or 2 more games by then. Sorry, we would have won Cardinals, Saints, and Falcons, and we go and meet them. That's 3 games in a row. Dick swinging.
What the fuck you gonna do?
We should just knock them the fuck. We should not. I would expect it to be a tight game, just for the sheer fact that they've got a lot riding on it. Because their next game's going to be the Saints, so they're going to put that ass out. I mean, if the Saints won that game, that'd be fucking hilarious.
It would be, but yeah, I'll say it like this: the next 2 games, you go out there and you blow these teams out. You blow out the Falcons. You blow out the Saints. When you play the Panthers, you do everything in your power to blow them out too, Slick. Now, we're not taking anything away from the Panthers. They're going to be fighting. They're going to fight. But so much can happen. So much can happen in the next 2 weeks, Slick. They got a bye week. But what if the Panthers fuck around and lay an egg to the Saints? Now, they're going to be desperate, but you whoop that ass. Slick,
I think they're too far behind then, because they can't afford to lose 2 games. Like, if the Buccaneers can win these next 2 games, even if both teams go, like, let's be fair, both teams go and face each other. They're ready to go. They haven't lost a game since whenever. They're both prime coming off. They're coming off their bye with a win. We're coming off our 3 games with a win. It will be. I wouldn't be surprised that game gets flexed. It's got to be, because I think, like, if Greg Oldman's correct and it's going to be the decider of the division, you've got to flex that. You don't want that on a fucking 1 o'clock.
That'd be a 4:25 game.
Yeah, 100%, because it's got more added to it. And then the interesting thing is, if the Panthers do lose that game, they got the Seahawks next week. They could go back-to-back losses, and all of a sudden they're out of the playoffs, and the Buccaneers can just go, well, we'll either rest. Not that I'm a fan of that. I'm not a fan of that.
I'm not either.
I'd say put back the ass and put limited clocks on players.
And you know what else is important, Slick? You could bring Canty back for the Dolphins game. Now, Canty, I met the man, good down-to-earth individual, cool guy. And like I said before to you, sir, if anybody in his family, or if you're even watching this, Canty, you're going to be all right. Handle your business. You have my support. Do what you need to do, whatever that is. The conversation you and I had, that stays between us, but just know I'm here. I support you. I appreciate you. And whatever you need to do to get out there, you make it happen. Because Slick, with Canty coming back, let's say you bring him back in with the Dolphins game, that at least gives him 2 games to catch his NFL lungs.
Yep. And then you hit the playoffs, and you never know. The Buccaneers could be a 2 to 3 seed. We've been that 4th seed for quite a while now. That's the one thing that we can turn around. We made the playoffs, but we've always made it as a 4th seed because we've been the worst divisional winner.
Yep, but now if you get that 2 or 3 seed, it changes the dynamics. And like you said, Slick, with Canty coming in that game against the Dolphins, I'd only play Vita Vea maybe the first half, and then you sit him down because you want Vita to be primed and ready. And now can you imagine this, Slick? Let's just now before I let you go, this is my Disneyland dream. So leave me alone, everybody. Imagine we finally get all the receiving core that we were dreaming about in the regular season. They get to the playoffs, and then you bring the addition. God forbid nobody else get hurt. You bring Canty back in the fold. Imagine what his ability will mean for a lot of teams. That is the guy that we want to go get the sacks. That's the guy that can go in the trenches, that can win your three tackle, man. Imagine him. And like you said, Slick, we're the 2 or 3 seed. Now we're playing the 6 or 7. They don't want to see that. And more
And
than
playing at home.
Slick, that more than likely will be the 49ers, like you said. If they go on that spiral, like you said, we're going to be playing
I'm
a team
telling
we're familiar
you,
with.
all you need to really beat them, and it was telling on when we played them last. If you can nullify what Christian McCaffrey does,
Yes.
you're in a position to have success. I'm not saying Mac Jones is bad. I'm not going to go down that route because I don't think he is. I think he's a guy who's capturing everything, but the talent that's around him outside of Christian McCaffrey isn't where it's at.
Right.
I'm not saying they got bums or anything like that. I'm just saying it's nowhere near the firepower that the Buccaneers hold. Now, I'm not saying Bucky's the same level as Christian McCaffrey either, but the problem is we're not running Bucky into the fucking ground.
Nope, we are not.
We will use our other backs sparingly when we need to. They picked up the slack when needed. But this is the bit. This is the one I want to see the Buccaneers go boom, and that has to happen. At the moment, all I want them to do is keep winning because I know we all want them to win big, but realistically, we just need to win. That's all that matters. Get the win and then start piling on the points. Get to a point where you're like, okay, now we can whip on these boys.
Yep, we can whip on these boys, and it starts with the Saints, in my opinion. You got that grinded out win against the Cardinals, Slick. Now this is a game where I ain't saying God knows I want them to beat them by 40 or 50, but this is a game where you can say, all right, let's win by 20 again. That's not too much to ask for. Then you play the Falcons. They're going to be better. Let's put them away by at least 13.
I don't know if the Falcons are going to be that much better.
Well, never mind then. Look, in my opinion, Slick, I would love for the Bucs to do what the Falcons did to us on that Thursday, that miserable Thursday in 2014. I would love for that to happen. But I like you, I want to be realistic. And because until Grizzlies shows me otherwise.
I want one of these 3 wins on the way to Carolina has to be a big one. Just one of them. It doesn't need to be all of them. I mean, that's encouraged. But if I can just get one blowout victory against one of those teams, enough for the Panthers to go, okay, they're not fucking around. They're ready for us. They got the firepower.
Agreed.
And then we just go bam.
And that's what we're going to do. We're going to go bam. And speaking of that, y'all, we about to bam, take our asses to bed and get some rest out here. Because, again, my man took 15 hours to take out of his time for you all, and we appreciate it. As always, we want to thank you for watching Bucs Report the Aftermath. I need y'all to go listen to us stay on YouTube if you want to see these pretty faces. But this hat is fly. My girl got this for me, so shout out to her. Yeah. This motherfucking shit. This is my shit right here. And then Mecca Buka jersey. I ain't gonna lie, Slick. That's one of the cleanest jerseys ever. And that too, it's just something about that too. But then Apple Music, Spotify, iHeartRadio. Then if you want to see me cook motherfuckers on TikTok, AJ_turnup. If you want to see me humble motherfuckers on Twitter, AJ_turnup. Because you asked a silly ass question. The first thing you mentioned was, well, it's like basketball. Football is not like basketball. Get it together. So, as always, go check out my YouTube video. It's about bucking time. Give Coach Slick an opportunity. We want Slick to be in the States permanently. Tampa's always nice, Slick. It's always
Oh
nice.
yeah, bro. We
And
went some
look,
spots, didn't we, bro?
yes, sir. And Ybor City is the shit. Just everything ain't for everybody. Slick knows what I'm talking about. Yes, sir. Y'all take care. And as always, go Bucks. Be easy, my brother.
Be easy, brother. I'll catch you soon. Okay, guys, that's the end of the show. I've just come back from a big, long round trip. I've only been back in the UK for the last 12 hours. So I'm pretty tired, burnt out a little bit, to be honest. So I'm going to take my ass to bed because I've got work in the morning. So yeah, got to get back to it, and we'll see you guys pre-game, post-game, after the Saints. AJ will do the pre-game, I will do the post, and we will see you guys. Hopefully, we'll be celebrating another win on my post-game show, and then after that, we go back into the aftermath on Monday, bring this thing back, and hopefully we're having another victory Monday, and we're adding those dubs up, and we turn into this team that we want it to be. It's got to happen. Okay, Bucks on me, Bucks on free. 1, 2, 3, go Bucks!